Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Friday, February 23rd, 2024. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. At least 3 pregnancies delivered here in SVG in 2023 were by girls between ages 10 and 14 years. This is according to obstetrician and gynecologist OBGYN Dr. Sharian Slater, who was addressing the 28th perinatal conference today. Outlining the perinatal statistics from the obstetric and gynecology department at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, Dr. Slater noted that 2023 had a total of 191 teenage pregnancies with 157 deliveries and 11 miscarriages. She, however, added that compared to 2022, there was a 5% decrease in teenage pregnancies in 2023.
In the ages 10 to 14, both pregnant and delivery. In terms of the pregnancy numbers for age 15 to 17, we had 70, 58 of those which did go on to deliver. In 2023, in terms of the age 18 to 19, we had 118 and 95 of those had delivery. In terms of our teenage pregnancy rate, we had a rate of 10.9% and teenage delivery rate 13.5%. So for the total teenage delivery trends over 10 years, we do see, as I mentioned, 157 for 2023, which is in comparison to 148 in 2022 and 221 in 131 in 2021. So we did have a fall in the teenage pregnancy rate, but we had an increase slightly in the teenage delivery rate.
Dr. Slater noted that there were 1,769 prenatal admissions generally in 2023, which was a decrease compared to 2022.
1,758 discharges. This is because some would have been discharged in 2024. We had 1,737 total pregnancies, 5 ICU admissions, which we'll go into detail in a further slide, 17 twins, 185 miscarriages, 123 evacuation of retained products of conception, 34 ectopic pregnancies, 2 molar pregnancies. We had a total of 1,165 deliveries and 17 birth before arrivals. Looking at our trend over the years, we do see that there was a decrease in our total admissions throughout the months. As you can see in green highlighted for 2023, we have a decrease in our admissions. And here again, we just see a 5-year comparison of the total admissions, where at the bottom, 2023, we have a fall. In terms of the demographics, dealing with parity, majority of our patients were gravida 2 to 4 at 55%, followed by primigravidas at 31%, and gravida greater than gravida 4 at 14%.
According to Dr. Slater, the national statistics for prenatal deliveries at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital district clinics and private clinics amounted to 1,210.
In total, for the national deliveries, we had 1,210. However, this does not include Merrifield Hospital, so we are missing those data. In terms of the total births, we had 1,225. Total live births, 1,208. And the teenage deliveries, 1,163. So the adjusted statistical rates for the national stats. So for the stillbirth rates, we now have a 13.9 per 1,000. The neonatal mortality rate, 21.5 per 1,000 live births, and the perinatal mortality rate, 15.7 per 1,000 live births. Still have 2 maternity deaths, and the teen delivery rate, 13.5%. So just going into a little breakdown of the obstetrical concerns. So for the cardiovascular system, we had 126 admissions for patients with chronic hypertension, and 132 admissions for patients with gestational hypertension. This would include patients who were admitted on multiple occasions.
9 new cases of cervical cancer were diagnosed in 2023. This is according to gynecologist Dr. Jamito James, who was speaking on pregnancy and cervical cancer during the 28th perinatal conference today. Dr. James noted that the 9 cases, 2 were identified through pregnancy,
which would have received lower segment cesarean section, with bilateral salpingectomies. Of note, previous studies done in SVG has demonstrated highly virulent strains of HPV, which is one of the main causes of cervical cancer. Currently, these strains are not being covered by the current HPV vaccine regime. Of note, our department, we are proposing to initiate pap smear treatment or pap smear screening, in first trimester of pregnancies, which could benefit our population given the increased early incidence of cervical cancer being observed. What do we recommend? So implementation of opportunistic screening, that is the first trimester pap smears for improvement in diagnosis and detection of cervical cancer, adequate training of healthcare personnel to reduce incidence of erroneous results, and it's also recommended that the Gardasil 9 vaccine be offered instead of the Gardasil 4, which only provides protection against the subtypes 6, 11, 16, and 18. Within our population, the main strains were noted to be 45, 53, and 51.
Dr. James further explained the diagnosis of cervical cancer in pregnant women.
Patient RC, a 46-year-old, a gravid of 5, parameter 3, and 1, who was first initially seen on the 9th of August 2023. She was treated for 2 days on the maternity ward for vaginal bleeding and was discharged with the initial diagnosis of cervicitis in pregnancy. She later returned a month later on the 22nd of September. At that time, she was a gestational age of 37.1 and with an estimated delivery date of the 12th of October 2023. In terms of antecedents, the patient generally, she had a past medical history of sickle cell trait, 1 surgical history of an ERPC, family history of sickle cell and hypertension, no other toxic habits that were noted, and no known allergies that were voiced. She was only noticed to be taking her prenatal tablets and trihemic for iron supplementation. Under her gynecological history, the last menstrual period was the 5th of January 2023 with a menage of 12 to 13 years old. She couldn't remember exactly. She had regular periods that would lasted 5 days. No known history of contraception, and her last pap smear was done the year before in 2022 with no known alterations.
There has been a total of 1,046 cases of child abuse reported here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines between 2020 and 2023. This is according to Minister of National Mobilization, Social Development, Family and Gender, Dr. Orlando Brewster, who was responding to a question during Parliament yesterday asked by Opposition MP Daniel Cummins on behalf of Senator Shavon John, who is currently out of state. As he breaks down the figures, Minister Brewster noted that according to the Child Care and Adoption Act 2010, child abuse includes physical, sexual, verbal, emotional, psychological, and financial abuse.
Madam Speaker, in 2020, we had a total of 381 reported cases, varying with the different forms of abuse. Madam Speaker, of that 381, the state were able to alleviate some of the circumstances, and some of the children were placed under our care. It's in the ministry, a total of 166 in 2020. In 2021, we had 234 cases, and of the 234 cases, we took on board 163 of those within the ministry that we paid keen attention to. In 2022, 190 cases, and in that year, we had under our care 180 children. 180. And in 2023, we had a total of 241 reported cases, and from that total, the state, we dealt keenly with 206 of those. Part B of the question, Madam Speaker, asked about the age ranges. The age range of those who were affected. In 2020, the age range of those that were mostly affected were between the age of 11 to 14 years. In 2021, between 8 to 10 years. 2022, 8 to 10 years. And in 2023, 11 to 14 years.
On the question of what programs are in place to help parents or guardians who are found guilty of child abuse, Minister Brewster said there are several programs that the ministry offers, which include a parenting education program, commonly known as the PEP program, conducted by the Child Development Division.
The duration of this program is 10 to 12 weeks, and it aims in equipping parents with the knowledge and skills to support their children's or their child's development and to improve their parenting and child rearing skills. Topic in this program includes child rights, principles of effective parenting styles, discipline versus punishment, and coping strategies and anger management. Another program, Madam Speaker, is a family support grant program. And this is conducted through the Social Protection Division within the ministry. It aims to assist families to make or rebuild their livelihoods. The program component includes social assistance, family life education. We have parents who are involved in farm skill internship and business skill development. And a key part of this program is abuse prevention. Another program, Madam Speaker, is we offer counseling to the parents, which is very important. And this is not only given to the parent, but we incorporate family members as well as to how they can spot abuse in the home and they themselves can report such.
Minister Brewster further told Parliament that in the 2024 budget, the government saw it fit to do more for the nation's children and will be establishing 2 at-risk homes for boys and girls, noting that a lot of times these children end up on the streets because they cannot take the abuse in their homes.
Madam Speaker, I have given my ministry the mandate that by March 31st of this year, we should have 2 homes, one for boys, one for girls. And it would accommodate age ranges between 10 to 17 years of age. And it is going to be primarily for children who exhibit signs of behavior and conduct disorders, who cannot be placed in any specialized child care facility. It would also help children who are in conflict with the law under the age of 16 and those who have been charged or placed on remand. Because it is not the best thing for us to put a child of such a young age behind bars. So this home will help in solving that issue. Madam Speaker, boys and girls, separate homes, one for boys, one for girls. And those who have committed petty offense, because sometimes, you know, some of the expressions that we receive from our youngsters are as a result of what they are facing at home. So those who have committed petty offense, we are also trying to provide a space, a safe space for them within those homes. And those who are chronic runaways, whether it's from residential homes or care homes or family homes, we are going to make sure that these at-risk homes help with those circumstances. Madam Speaker, I've also given the ministry the mandate to establish a Children at Risk Intervention Management Interagency Committee to coordinate and monitor the implementations of various interventions, with the supporting records designed to track the placement and interventions for children at risk.
Vincentians are being encouraged to become SVG's tourism ambassadors as the island prepares to host the matches at the Honnesville Sport Playing Field for the 2024 ICC T20 Men's World Cup Cricket, which runs from June 1st to June 29th. This encouragement comes from Minister of Tourism and Culture, Carlos James, during a ceremony at Heritage Square last evening to mark the 100 days countdown to the ICC T20 World Cup 2024 to be hosted in a number of countries in the Caribbean, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Welcome everyone to our shores. Let us accommodate everyone's, because I'm sure we're going to have problems with rooms. Let us welcome persons through our Airbnbs, our guest houses, our rental accommodations, because St. Vincent and the Grenadines is truly a hospitable place and our people are amazing. Very soon we'll be in our communities with a road show promoting the ICC T20 in our schools and working with our communities to ensure that we build the momentum going into June for the games. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it is a safe place to come. We have lots of in store for you. We have lots of restaurants opening, lots of new hotels opening, Sandals, Holiday Inn Express, Love You. We have many more hotels on the construction, and of course we have more airlines booking to come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So even if you're going to another destination,
outlining what destination SVG has to offer other than cricket, Minister James used the opportunity to encourage visitors to be a part of Vincimas 2024, which runs from June 28th to July 9th.
What it is that we have to offer as a country and a destination, the most diverse Caribbean destination. You come for cricket, but just after cricket, you're coming in the heart of our Vincimas 2024, our carnival season. Don't forget to take a trip to Darkview Falls, or don't forget to go down to the Tobago Keys, because St. Vincent and the Grenadines is truly the Caribbean you're looking for. So I want to welcome all of the teams, welcome all of the visitors. You heard the announcement. Log online, book your tickets to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Flights are coming out of London Heathrow, Virgin Atlantic. Flights are coming from Toronto. Of course, Air Canada. Flights are coming from JFK, Caribbean Airlines, and flights are coming from Miami through American Airlines. Go online, get your tickets for the games, book your hotel rooms, get your tickets for your seats on the airlines, and come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Minister James further told the gathering that the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has put the necessary measures in place to ensure the island is ready to host the World Cup matches.
Our government have done the necessary preparatory work. We have done the refurbished work at the Arnesville Stadium. We have done a number of warm-up fields that we have rehabilitated, and of course, we are leaving a big legacy. What this ICC World Cup means for many of our young people, our sporting talents, is that they can also dream to be the next Brian Lara, the next Ian Allen, the next Mike Finley, and the names and so on go on. But we are ensuring that we build our facilities, we put the necessary resources in place to accommodate international games so that our young cricketers, they too will have the opportunity to see this magnificent display of cricket talent, but also can learn something in terms of professionalism and work.
Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gansals, who also addressed the ceremony, said that he wants all Vincentians to get very enthusiastic about the country hosting 4 of the ICC T20 World Cup matches this year.
At least this leg of the games, we need to make our own contribution to the uplift of West Indies cricket. I always tell everybody that this region of 5-6 million people, we dominated a world sport for 15 years. Just picture this, a country, a region of 5-6 million, tops for a sport for 15 years. The only dominance of a sport, like how we dominated from the late 70s going on, in the 80s into the 90s. The only other examples of that is Cuba with amateur boxing for that length of time. Kenya, Ethiopia, that area of East Africa with long distance running. And ice hockey, the Soviet Union and Russia. But this place, 5-6 million people, we dominated world sport. And cricket, for us, is not only a sport. Cricket has been historically an instrument of our people's liberation.
SVG soca superstar Gamal Skinny Fabulous Doyle last evening performed at halftime for Caribbean Night at the Raptors game against the Brooklyn Nets at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. During his performance, supported by backup dancers, Skinny flew SVG's flag high as he belted out several of his hit songs. Here's a snippet of his performance.
One time, St. Vincent, all Caribbean nationals, Guyana see you to Jamaica see you, Trinidad see you. If you have your flags on.
Head of the Police Public Relations Department, Superintendent Junior Simmons, is appealing to members of the public to respect the laws of the land and also to respect law enforcement officers. As a guest on the VC3 Roundtable Talk program, SOP Simmons said there are too many instances when members of the public get in physical altercation with law enforcement officers and this must be stopped.
If a police officer stops you and they declare the office, they say who they are, they want to conduct a search on you, then your duty is to comply with the police officer, not to fight with the police officer, because if you use force, then the police would retort and use the force that is necessary to bring you under control. And you're aware of two recent incidents, yes. One in Choppins and the other one at Massey's supermarket, where the police exercise great restraint. Mm-hmm. Those incidences. And I think the police must be commended, because things could have gone terribly wrong, there. So, yes, at times, we may step out of line, because we are not perfect as police officers. We also have to respect the citizens as well, because respect is earned. We cannot demand respect. We have to, earn it from the public. And as we say locally, respect is a two-way street. You give respect, you get respect. So, going forward, we would respect the citizens, and likewise, we want them to also show us respect. Let us live in harmony.
Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of crimes, Trevor Bailey, who was also on the program, said fathers within the family ought to display love, attention, and security to children, particularly boys, to prevent them from seeking love from the streets or elsewhere.
Because the father is absent, he seeks that from the block. And the so-called leaders of the block or the gangs is now the father figure. And the love that is sought at home, that is lacking, is given there. So you will find that our young boys, their loyalty is to the gang leader. Their loyalty is to the friends on the block who they consider their brother. And sometimes blind loyalty, you do acts of violence to demonstrate your loyalty to the group. So we from a police point of view, we're saying to the fathers that responsibility of yours should really be shouldered. And you need to, I'm not saying that you must go and make up with your loved one, because I don't know what is the cause. But your children should always be your children, and you should always provide that love and security and have that conversation. I find that families are not having the kind of conversation that parents need to have with the kids.
With 7 homicides already recorded for this year, Assistant Commissioner of Police Trevor Bailey says the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is employing more strategies to ensure the crime rate is not as high as last year.
We are at count number 7 of the 7 homicides, 7 murders that we have had for the year thus far. 4 are firearms related. 2 are stab wounds and 1 chop. So we had 7. You put it as 1 per week.
It works out to that.
It works out to that. But if we were to hold that trend, that would not be good news for us here in St. Vincent and Grenadines. It means that you're putting me back at 52, and we are working towards reducing that number from last year significantly. We are going to employ a lot of different strategies. There are things that we're going to do to ensure that we stay as far as practicable away from that 52 number. That is not one of my favorite number.
Meanwhile, head of the Police Public Relations Department, Superintendent Junior Simmons, expressed confidence with the new crime-fighting strategies, which he says will help to decrease crime in the country.
We are confident, Teresa, that the strategies that we are employing in collaboration with the cooperation from the public, the residents, in the different communities, that we will be able to really put a stronger handle on the crime situation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because you're aware and the public is aware that crime fighting is not only the police responsibility; it takes everybody. Crime prevention is a shared responsibility, and so we are really doing the bulwark of part of it, but we are asking the public to really support us.
SOP Simmons used the opportunity to plead with the members of the public to deal with their differences in a more mature and godly way.
Deal with your grievances, in a more friendly, loving, amicable way, because when you respond with violence and anger, then that can lead to a murder. It can lead to someone being maimed and injured and so forth. So really, in order for there to be a serious reduction in crime in St. Vincent and Grenadines, there needs to be a behavioral change. And it must start with me, you. It must start with the individual. That's where it starts, and when it starts there, then it boomerangs and it expands throughout the country. And St. Vincent and Grenadines is a peaceful country. Peaceful. It has been like that, for all these years, and we want it to remain that way.
Members of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union are being encouraged to choose a reliable and strong leader to fight for them in these challenging years ahead. The encouragement comes from incumbent President Oswald Robinson, who is being challenged for the position by Vice President Nicole Martindale.
You have to look at the issue of strong leadership. When you talk about the strength of a leader, you have to look at the character of the person, the core values. You have to be mentally prepared, mentally stable. You have the physical ability, you have the knowledge, and you also have the attitude. And I also have the advantage of time because I don't have to go and ask anybody permission to leave. All I would do is clear it from the Ministry of Education, make sure I get permission, and I visit. At this point in time, I'm not in a position to visit schools. I do not want to appear like politicians last minute as the election is in the air for the teachers union to be scrambling to visit schools. I have done quite a number of visits over the past 2 years and responded in every single way for every problem in terms of infrastructure and otherwise which affect schools. We have dealt with problems at the CWP, prep school. We continue to talk about Thomas Sanders, Brighton, Fair Hall, the Boys Grammar School, schools in the Grenadines, those in North Winmore, those in North Leeward. We also dealt with the problem at the Bukumen Secondary School.
Robinson outlined the reasons why he should be re-elected as president of the SVGTU.
Bearing in mind that we have a court matter with the COVID mandate that has affected many of our teachers, the students in the classroom, many families have been affected, and I am committed to ensure that we have a safe passage through and that this matter would be resolved in the interests of our teachers. It's also important that we pay attention to that the union is in good hands. I'm just referring to my poster on my cell phone. That's why I take a little bow. But it's important that we keep the union in good hands. Everything is not perfect. There's always room for improvement. But as I said, I am reaffirming my commitment to serve. We have won many battles under my leadership, and I bring that to bear in going forward. The issue of professional development is one that I've already secured with the CTF for this year, and also we'll see what happens for the following year. St. Vincent and the Grenadines would benefit from a global public education fund that is fruits from my efforts at the last Congress I attended in Mexico last month. And there are many other initiatives which I would articulate on the union's program on Sunday, God's willing. So teachers, be smart, be wise, don't take anything for granted.
The SVGTU will hold its elections next week, Tuesday, February 27th and Wednesday, 28th.